In this video, we're going to set up our 3 blueprints that we planned for previously and actually build them out. Now, we're not going to put in the functionality yet. I'm just going to set up the, let's say, the foundation of these blueprints. All right, so first thing, we're going to make a folder so that we can organize this particular system. So this is inside of FPS game. I'm actually going to come out of that up to right here. And I'm going to make a folder, right click, new folder, call this blueprints or blueprint. Okay, there we go. Okay, so inside of this folder, I'm going to make 3 different blueprints. We said we wanted a, so I'm going to right click, go to blueprint class, and I'm going to make this an actor, meaning that it's going to exist inside of the world. This first main one that we want is going to be the trigger to start activating all of our waves, which will then talk to our spawn points. So this one's going to be an actor. All right, and we'll call this BP underscore wave spawner. All right, let's actually set this one up. So if I double click, actually, if I drag this into the scene and then I double click, we'll get this little viewport window open right here. Now, I mentioned that I want the waves spawning, like all of the waves to start spawning based off of a trigger enter. And to do that, I need to add a collision on this particular actor. So in order to do that, I'm going to go up here to add component. I essentially want a box trigger, so I'm going to type in box and go to box collision. Okay, I'm just going to rename this spawn trigger. And right now it's actually really small. I can move this up a little bit too if I want. I'm going to resize this a little bit, just increase the scale. 10, 10, 10. Alrighty, and this is actually our pivot right here, our default scene route, this thing right here. So this is going to be the ground level. I'm just going to pull this up a little bit, right there. Okay, compile, save, come back, see what this looks like. Okay, so this is a pretty small trigger. If I wanted to make this bigger, I could scale it out or whatever. Let's actually make this default quite a bit bigger. I'm gonna go. Let's go 20, 20. I think the height's all right. File save. All right, this is looking better. Okay, so now that we have this here, just for testing purposes, I'm going to make this visible while I'm playing the game. So this little thing right here, hidden in game, I'm going to uncheck that temporarily. Compile, save. But I do want to be able to see it for testing. So if I close this out, so whenever I'm done with this whole system, I want to come back here and hide it. But for now, while I'm testing out this, I want to be able to see this when I press play. So if I press G, as in guy, you'll see it'll toggle what the actual view in game will look like. And you see that we can actually see our trigger box right here. If I start the game, you can still see it in game. So this is just really useful for testing. But right now there's nothing hooked up onto this trigger. So I'm going to click on it. I'm gonna go back inside my blueprint. Okay, so this is my viewport. In order to trigger something to happen when I enter this trigger volume, I want to go into the event graph. I could use these, but I want something a little bit more specific. I'm going to delete these out. Now what I want to say is when the spawn trigger is overlapped, I want to start the wave. You could actually do a player check if you want, but I want to keep this example pretty simple. So in order to do that, I want to click the spawn trigger and I want to right click and say add event for spawn trigger, expand collision. And when add on component begin overlap. So what this is saying is whenever the component that I have selected, being my spawn trigger box, is overlapped by anything really, then I want to spawn I want to start spawning. So let's just click that right there. And again, make sure that you have this selected. Otherwise, you're not going to see this menu right here. Add on component overlap. All right. And now that we have this, we can actually drag out and say, okay, something is overlapping this spawn trigger. So let's print a statement. I'm just going to test this out. Print string. Okay, all right, compile, save. Oh, sorry, yeah, hello, that's fine. Just need it for testing. So I'm gonna minimize this. I hit play. So now whenever I enter this, you see this little popped up right there saying hello. Means that our trigger box is working how we want. So that's great. Okay. And now what we want to do is we want to start spawning the waves, but now that we have this, we can build up from this. And this is going to be our main trigger. So after this video, we're going to continue to build out our foundation of our system.